Well, we talked about terms of trade deterioration specific to Kenya, and I wanted to just give you a few more examples before broadening the scope of what we're doing here. So here is, again, a table produced by one of our UTM students from my class, B.J. Travers. And this deals with Ivory Coast, the African nation of Ivory Coast, coffee production 1960, the year 1960 to the year 2000. And so here we have the year, we have the thousands of metric tons produced in each year, and then having adjusted the income of Ivory Coast for the coffee it sold to a common 1970 base year. So we're going to measure everything as though it were 1970, the value of the dollar in 1970. It's important to go through this again with a number of examples, because I think with each example you understand what's going on a little bit better. So let's see what we come up with. What B.J. Travers comes up with was that in 1970, the Ivory Coast was getting about $824, measured in 1970 dollars, was getting about $824.69 per metric ton of coffee, and that by the year 2000, that had fallen to about $201. So the coffee production, again, had risen from 1,967.43 thousand metric tons, that's over 1 million metric tons in 1970, to 3.5 million metric tons in 2000, and yet the price fell to 1/4 of the value that Ivory Coast got for its coffee in the year 1970. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm drinking my Starbucks coffee and paying, what, $1.80 for a cup, and it seems as though the people who are actually doing the work, producing millions of metric tons of coffee, are getting less and less for what they are producing. Tanzanian cotton. Again, I'm going to narrow it down here, just go through this very quickly. Tanzania produced cotton in 1970, measured in 1970 dollars. It received $538.46 for each metric ton. By the year 2000, it was receiving only $99, less than a fifth of what it had received in 1970 for producing that same cotton. This is by research by a student, one of my students in the African history class, Karita Orr. And I think I got one more. And then this is research from a UTM student, one of my African history students, Brett Prather. And she has a whole bunch of different coffee beans, cocoa beans, coffee, alumina, and bauxite. And what you see here is almost a universal decline in the value of all these different products produced in Guinea. So in Guinea, in the year 1970, again measured in 1970 dollars, $900 for cocoa beans, down to 1/6 of what they were getting for cocoa beans in the year 1970. That's what they were getting in the year 2000. You understanding this? I hope you're understanding it. It's very important. Coffee had gone down from $590 per metric ton, I presume, to $292 per metric ton. Alumina went down from $149.67 to $88.08. And bauxite is the only thing that kind of maintained its value during this period of time. Actually went up for a brief period of time. But in the year 2000, it was a little bit below what Guinea was getting for that same bauxite 30 years earlier. So this is the terms of trade. African coffee production as a whole, for all coffee produced in Africa, this research I did by myself. The quantities in this column, here's the key column, price per metric ton measured in 1970 US dollars, went from $807.80 per metric ton in 1970 to $294, less than half. And I think I've got one more which shows graphically that declining price. This is terms of trade deterioration, and the upshot of terms of trade deterioration is a loss of wealth by Africa to Africa's trading partners. It is part of a continuing process of underdeveloping, taking wealth out of Africa. And we will return in our next with a broader view of what this all means in terms of the third world as a whole.